We are now going to do a really fun game. And I love that God has a sense of humor, and we get to see how we are going to find an error. And as you work on anything in life, and you may proofread something, and you may have other people proofread something, sometimes the final production, you will catch an error and think, how in the world did we miss that? Well, that happened with the cards. There are, as you may know, over 700 items on these cards. There are going to be a total of 90 cards that you have, and there are 9 things on each card. So as we were proofing, as the card company was making the cards, it so happened that this card was here. And my question to you is, can you find the error? Okay, do you see it? Okay. So we have a blank spot. Well, what's missing? So as you think through, and your student is thinking through, and they're thinking about what's on each card, they can come in and they can check, and they can say, well, let me check my numbers. Well, I see the digit 7 and I see the word 1. Okay, so it's not my numbers. Let me check my animals. So I see the picture of the horse and I see the word pig, so it's not my animals. I see my direction. I see my letter. And I see the color blue written in blue and the color black written in white. So the only thing that's missing is my symbol. And because it is the third spot, then the symbol missing is a box. Yes. So if you said a box, you are right. So you also will have an extra card with a box. Okay. So that was something that just happened in production and didn't get caught till we got him. Well, then I had talked about having another game where we also just took a card that's not missing something, and you take your card and you come in and you cover up a spot. And you would do that without the student seeing the card, and then ask them what has to be missing, what would be under the card. Okay. And doing the same thing, checking, do we have our numbers? We do 5 and 4. Do we have our animals and our word? We do. Do we have our symbol? Yes. And do we have our colors? We do. We have brown and white. And then we have our direction. So what's missing? And if you said a letter, you're correct. And so because it's the first spot, what letter is missing? Yes, it is going to be our A. Now, the next thing that happened was on our final production, we missed an error. Not what was missing, but there's an error. And so we're going to take this and see if you can find the error. So take a look at the card. And as you're looking on this one, it does have everything. It's not missing anything. And I will say, we have asked some veteran Equipping Minds therapists, and everyone has taken a minute on this. Okay, so, and then if they were really thinking and they're thinking, okay, bear, and it would be in the first position, two would be in the second, three would be in the third. Here's the four. Wait a minute. There is a heart, but the line is in the middle, and our line should be under. Okay, so there is your error. Now, how else could you do this? We only have one card with an error like that. And then you also have the replacement card where it's correct. Okay. But how else could you do that? Well, you could absolutely go over to your 9 grid blank board in your teacher workbook, and you could draw. You could take a card. You don't have to make something up. Just take one of the cards and go in and draw 9 items that are on this card, for example. And then you make the decision, or the student could take a turn and do it as well, and pick an item and put, like, for example, you could put an F there. Okay. Or you could put, instead of camel, you could put spider. Okay. And then see if they can find the error. And that could be something, if you're doing it in a small group or a classroom, you have this made up ahead of time. Now, this, of course, is going to be a game that you're not going to necessarily play until they've been doing Equipping Minds for a little bit, to where they've learned their animals and their symbols and their numbers, their symbols, and they have that. Now, could you also lay out these code cards, and specifically you would put out your letters and your symbols and your animals and your words and your numbers. Okay. And you could use that, for example, to check if someone really wanted to go ahead and do that before they had mastered, but because they're having to look at a code and then check everything. So, and we have to do that all the time in life, where we have to look at something and then make sure we have everything we need. So that would be fine. Ultimately, you want it to be where they can look at it and see what the error is, and have fun with that. We are just taking these 2 errors and making a game of them and expanding on that game, which should surprise nobody that knows me, that we can always take it and look at that. So this is where we really get to use, okay, check. What is missing, or where's my error? So enjoy that one.